So this video is gonna be about intercooler, not about my cat. The intercooler that I will be installing in my car. And then you might be confused, why am I installing intercooler? Well, that's besides the point. It can be explained later. At this point, I have an intercooler and I'm gonna install it. Brackets that come on this intercooler are not the ones that I would like to have. So this brackets, I don't want to drop this. Right, so it has brackets on both sides. For mounting, what I would like to have is not there. I would like them to have, I would like brackets to be on this side. So I'm gonna cut those off, and then I'm gonna attempt to weld the brackets over here. Well, first I have to take it to work, to my workplace, where I'll be able to do all of this because I can't weld in my parking space. But at work it should be no issue to do this. Except, am I capable to do this? Well, we'll find out. But before I get it to work, I need to get it ready for shipping or for transportation, because you don't want to carry around intercooler like this, because these things could get bent. Some things can get jammed up in there. Worst case scenario, we'll get a hole and we'll be leaking boost minutely. But yes, so to get it prepped for transportation, what I like to do is just cover it up with cardboard. There it is, ready for transport and handling. That's how I want it to be. Just has cardboard on both sides, and preferably I would leave it this way until I install it on the car, and only after it's installed in the car I will remove the cardboard, just to keep it protected until then. And yeah, this makes it a lot better for transport. Right, Kotaro? Alright, so tomorrow I will throw this into the car and get to work. Then I'll do my work, and after I finish work, we'll do some stuff to my intercooler and see how it goes. Gohan? Yes. Alright. Time to go to work. Got my intercooler. Hopefully we'll be able to get everything done. Bye bye, Kotaro. Alright, I'm back at home now. I wasn't able to do everything that I was planning to do. So There's the intercooler. Yeah, so I was able to remove the brackets as of so the brackets got removed, but I was also planning to weld or at least tack on new brackets, but I didn't have enough time. We have a fabrication prototype shop at work, which we are allowed to use for our own purposes. If there's more than one person in a shop. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. I finished my work early because I got to work early, but other people have also finished their work early because it's Friday. So most people left the shop, and I wasn't able to stick around because there was nobody else left in the building. So this is what I was thinking to use for brackets, and it's not gonna go on the same side, it's gonna go on the opposite side where I chopped it off. So for now I just brought the scrap material home. I'm gonna measure it one more time, try to line it up, figure out what I want to do. This is another thing I could turn into a bracket. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off the bumper, kind of line up the intercooler, and you know, get some inspiration from there. And I should have brought a marker and a measuring tape. So to get access where I need to measure stuff, I need to remove the bumper, of course, and it's pretty easy. Well, actually already done most of the work, but there's a bunch of push pins over here. I just need to take them out. I think there's 2 screws in those 2 holes there, and more push pins in the front. Actually, I took them all off at work and just drove it like this. There's nothing holding it in place. It's basically just wedged in there, so I can yank it out. Then there are screws in a fender. I've also removed them. Once the screws have been removed, you can just grab it and pull it. And this is the point where it just clipped in, so just yank it out and try not to break it. So it's not supposed to break, but one of the clips was brittle and it actually snapped off over there. But yeah, so same here. There's screws here and there. And just yank it out like this. Oh my gosh, did something break again? Yeah, there's those stabs right there. There you go. There are also a bunch of 7mm screws all along the bottom. They look like this with a 7mm socket. Also, I took them all out. Well, actually, I just took them all out at work, and I was driving home with just 1 screw in the bottom, holding the bottom of this thing. Okay. There it goes. Alright, now there's the reflectors that have power plugged in, so I need to unplug those. And if you have fog lights, you're gonna need to unplug those as well. It's gonna reach in here. I think it might be impossible to just twist out the bolt. Might be easier than unplugging it, but I don't want to touch the bolt with my greasy hands. Alright, now why should we just lift it out? Oh, yeah, it's kind of in place right here and right here. Yes, also I have 2012 model. If you have 2013-14, it's gonna be different. Oh boy. Look at how good it fits in there. It's like it's perfectly made for this. Look at that. Well, actually, no, it doesn't look like it's perfectly made for this. The bumper is overlapping a huge portion of the intercooler, but I kind of knew that's how it's gonna go. I will not be throwing this away. This thing, I'm gonna keep it. The objective is to get the ducting going through this hole here, and it looks like it's pretty good. Like, look at that clearance right there. It's like almost exactly the right fit. Of course, I mean, I'll have to chop this all up to make sure that the intercooler piping fits in between. But yeah, still, I think this is almost perfect. And yeah, so this is what I was planning to use for the bracket, and that's why I chopped off those ones, because there's actually nothing on that side of the condenser to bolt into. My plan is to bolt it into the side of the bumper. So weld-on brackets like this, and it's gonna bolt to the back of the bumper like that. And yeah, I think this is gonna be awesome. I got a suggestion from a coworker that I should probably space out the intercooler from the bumper as far as possible. I want it to be as far from the bumper as possible so that airflow is able to go around the bumper, because that's probably how it was designed, for airflow to go around the bumper and into the condenser. So I should try to get it as close to the condenser as possible. But of course, within reason, because I do need to get the pipes in through there too. And if that interferes with my plan, then I might have to mount it close to the bumper. I mean, from my point of view, I think the intercooler is a bit oversized for my project. I'm not planning for crazy power, so I think it will do fine. So I fitted the intercooler as tightly to the condenser as possible, which might be the best orientation for it, and it fits pretty good. So it almost looks like it's made for the intercooler. So if you had like a possible way to route piping would be to go, well, cut out the hole here, go through inside here, and then cut a hole there underneath the headlight. Well, actually no, there is ABS in here, so maybe that's not the best way. But yeah, I've seen people routing pipes from here and underneath the rat support there, and pretty much underneath the radiator. It's not going to be the lowest part of the car because this is still lower, but that's how people routed it before. And yeah, I've seen people also go through here and up. If you're willing to rearrange your wires there, it's possible for the pipe to come up from here. Might have to drill new holes. On this side should be relatively easier. You could drill a hole here. That's what the intercooler is. And remove this guy, relocate the window washer fluid, and could easily come out from that hole there. If you have like a V6 and your engine bay is cramped, that's one way to do it. My plan is a little bit different. My plan is to put the pipes through here. We'll cut a 2-inch diameter hole, actually somewhere here, lower. It's gonna go through there. It will be going kind of in between all the wires and ECU in there, but I think there's enough space And on this side, there's a whole lot of more room. There's enough room for a 3-inch pipe in here, which is the outlet, and there should be enough room left for a 2-inch pipe in there as well. And just go down and connect to there. Of course, I'll have to chop up this plastic parts a lot. Alright, so I got the car packed up. I think I've got pretty good measurements of what I need to accomplish. Still not sure if I'm gonna use this bracket or if I'm gonna chop this up and make this into a bracket. Why this one is because it's longer. Yeah, you see this guy? He's thicker, but I think he's gonna be only grabbing like 1 inch away from the end of it. Kind of would be nice to have a bead going down the middle where it's gonna be welded, and so the intercooler will be secured from like the middle of it, not from the edge of it. Like, you know, the further away I get to the edge, the worse it gets, I think. If something like this is gonna be more manageable, I can pretty much cut it to whatever size I want, and make it into whatever I want. This one's a little bit thinner, as you can see, but the thinnest one of them all is the intercooler itself, as you can see. So I don't know if there's much of a point to going any thicker than this, because like this might be just too much. It's like if it's a thicker piece welded onto a thinner piece, I don't know if it's gonna be any point to this. Yeah, so on Monday I'll go to work and I'll consult with some co-workers, see what their opinion is, and I might be able to get this welded up on Monday, or at least tack it on one day. Here's some background information about me. I am not a welder. I am not a metal worker or a fabricator. I'm just a fool that shouldn't be allowed anywhere near tools or cars. Luckily, my workplace has this thing called a liability waiver that I can sign, and I get access to the fabricating shop and get to play with all these tools. It's very possible that you will see me doing things wrong, and might be even something cringeworthy, but that's just how it is. And you're welcome to leave some feedback so I might learn. Prior to welding these aluminum brackets, I've spent a bit of time practicing welding on steel. I don't think I've actually made anything that had any purpose. It was just practicing welding steel, prepping steel, welding it, and attaching it together, sometimes grinding it off and prepping steel again and welding it back in. I've also practiced a few hours welding some aluminums, but the aluminum pieces that I welded were basically of the same thickness, and they were nicely cleaned, and it wasn't too difficult. From what I've learned at that point is that you can do mediocre welds on steel, you can do mediocre welds on aluminum. And I'm referring to TIG welding, of course. That's what you see me doing here in the video. I heard it is possible to MIG weld aluminum, and I think it should be easier and faster with MIG welding, but it does require some special tooling or something like that. But TIG welding is a lot more fun. I could, spend hours TIG welding things for fun, I don't see myself make welding for fun. It's just not something that is that of much fun of a task. Attaching brackets to this intercooler is my first non-practice project that I have ever done. And doing the practice welds on practice pieces of aluminum did not prepare me much for this task. Heat control is important part of welding. Well, an intercooler is very good at dissipating heat, and that makes the heat control very tricky. I struggled to get enough heat into the intercooler piece to take the weld, and I was too scared to crank up the amps any higher because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was experimenting with electrode stick out, the amp settings, the penetration to cleaning ratio settings, and the argon flow rate, but I wasn't able to get any kind of positive feedback, any kind of notice that I'm moving in the right direction. However, in the end, I was able to attach the brackets to the intercooler, and I had some more experienced welders examine my welds, and they said they are decent. At some places they would say I should have put in more filler rod, and yeah, that does seem to check out. Like there's some places are kind of very concave, and there should be more of a convex type of a weld. But yeah, there it is. And I'm back from work, but I think this video is getting too long and I'm not even halfway there, so I'm gonna have to cut it up into multiple parts. So see you in the next one when I try to install the intercooler to the bumper.